As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will lead many astray."
The video of a man being brought back to life by Pastor Alf Lukau dominated the news this week. But Lukau isn't the only pastor who's made headlines lately. Self-proclaimed prophet Bushiri and his wife were arrested in early February on fraud and money laundering charges. Bushiri's also been banned from Botswana. Now a City Press journalist tried to investigate Bushiri's origins, but she was deported from Malawi before her investigation could even begin.
When I was in police station, I was asking people, what do you think of the so-called man? We are a laughingstock in Malawi, South Africa. They were like, what? We are against his wrongdoings. Are you guys mad? Are you for real? Do you believe in his miracles?
Jesus Christ is returned, but only this time in Brazil. For more than 30 years, this man, calling himself Inri Cristo, has preached his own gospel as a supposed reincarnation of Jesus of Nazareth, relocated to Brasilia. Born Alvaro Thais to farmers of German extraction, he made a first conversion in 1969, becoming Yuri of Nostradamus and styling himself a prophetic seer. A decade later, a vision revealed his true nature, and he changed his name from Yuri to Inri, son of God.
My Lord only revealed to me the position I occupied on earth in my past lives when he considered that it was important. I don't remember all of my previous lives.
Inri's preaching took him abroad, where he was expelled from the U.S. and a few other countries, and to prison in Brazil, where he did a stint in the 1980s for vandalizing a cathedral. Now in his 60s, he's still not averse to making a scene to get people's attention. Inri's followers use the internet and social networking tools like Facebook and Twitter to preach the good word, often to the tune of a catchy pop hit. Na vida eu sempre quero mais, mais. Aprendizado, luz e paz, mais. Inri has made the rounds of Brazil's TV talk shows, but most of his time now is spent with his disciples at home in a closed compound outside the Brazilian capital.
I'm not paid. I work here and I'm not paid. We're all volunteers. And how can I help the Master's house? With my work.
Several hundred followers, 90% of them women, are faithful to Inri's creed.
How many of you have tried to save others, knowing I am here? You look on the news every day and you see doomsday in your face. Your eyes are filled with all of our anger. Everything we have done to bring you to us with love, not fear. Not fear! And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these things are but the beginning of the birth pains.
7.1 earthquake has hit California just one day after another earthquake, which is now being described as a foreshock, and dozens of aftershocks. The latest earthquake reportedly originated in the same desert area of California between Los Angeles and Las Vegas and could be felt as far away as Las Vegas. It was just yesterday that a rolling 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit, which was the most powerful quake in that region in 2 decades. You can see chandeliers swaying. This is in Los Angeles. The epicenter was in a place called Ridgecrest. It was felt again as far away as Las Vegas, and depending on who you talk to and where they were, they experienced things very, very differently. In Ridgecrest, which is the epicenter, it's described as a violent shaking, and people are describing being terrified, people in tears. There was a fireball, which had been a home. Everybody did get out safely. That was confirmed by NBC News' Molly Hunter.
We're just having a bit of an earthquake here, Ryan. Quite a decent shake here, but if you see things moving behind me, the beehive moves a little more than most. Yep, no, it's just stopped. No, we're fine, Ryan. I'm not under any hanging lights. I look like I'm in a structurally sound place.
4 countries are on the brink of famine. 20 million people, families and children. Tonight, right here, we're with the doctors who are in a race against time as we travel with the American woman who runs Save the Children. Families and children at risk of starvation. In the first village, Harashef, the line begins early in the morning. They know the trucks are coming. How many hours away?
That would be like 2 hours, close to 2 hours drive, yes.
To get from the nearest water site?
Yes.
Here, it's not just the food they need, but water. Save the Children is trucking it in. You haven't had a drenching rain here in years.
Yeah, it hasn't rained in close to 3 years now.
Halima, a mother of 5, stands in line. All of her livestock is gone. They have no food. And we asked the last time there was any rain. She remembers the day. It happened once last year. On the hill sit 2 trucks to deliver water for hundreds of families. If you look over my shoulder here, you'll actually see that this is what it's like as these families come here every single day to get water. We witness a rush of families trying to get to the hoses that will give them enough water to last just a couple of days. We journey from west to east. 70% of the livestock, the farm animals,
then they will
have died.
deliver you up to the tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake.
An unprecedented level of persecution against Christians has skyrocketed around the world. The international organization Open Doors recently published the 2020 World Watch List. It focuses on the top 50 countries where Christians are most likely to be persecuted. The report states over the past 6 years, the countries that experience the highest level of persecution have gone from 1 to 11, with countries in Asia and Africa suffering the most. What is causing this rise in persecution among Christians around the world?
Well, the persecution is taking different forms according to countries and cultures. The last World Watch List by Open Doors mentions different important facts, like the diffusion of violence in sub-Saharan Africa, where terror groups are trying to eliminate the Christian presence in these countries that are still predominantly Christians. And the same violence is spreading in Asia, especially in southern and southeastern Asia. We all have in mind the terrible attack against the church in Sri Lanka during the last Easter celebration.
And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another.
Josh Harris, who wrote the bestseller I Kissed Dating Goodbye, admitted he's left the faith. And Marty Sampson, a worship leader with Hillsong, says he's struggling to keep it.
Yeah, recently I talked with John Cooper, lead singer of the group Skillet, about what he believes might be the root of the problem.
Unfortunately, the church is looking to be entertained. We are not looking to worship God as he ought to be worshiped. We're looking for people to feed us and entertain us. And so what we have is that we're elevating people that sing the right way. And we are letting things get away with lyrics and songs, perhaps. Skillet. I've written a lot of songs that I would not want to be sung at church because they are not theologically accurate enough to sing about God's character. So that's what I mean about that. I don't want to be the person that people listen to. I want the word of God to do that. And there are people that are gifted and anointed from God to be sharing the word. And that's who I want to see.
And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold.
They are the most vulnerable, the most at risk. On their faces, already written the outline of struggles and hardships they don't understand. Burja Gada weighs just 2.5 kilos. That would be dangerous for a newborn. She is 3 months old. She's been brought to the feeding station near the town of Gidan Aida in south-central Niger. Run by Swiss charity Hex and Christian Aid, the workers here think they can help her. Her grandmother believes they may save her life.
Only God knows if she will survive, but being here will help her. I know people are being asked to help us. I hope they will think of my granddaughter and her getting enough food.
United Nations figures reveal that currently in Niger, 900,000 children under the age of 2 are at risk of serious malnutrition.
More than 100 migrants seeking asylum arriving at the U.S. border with Mexico. They've been told there's no room right now. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the story.
A human rights struggle is playing out on America's southern border. After more than a month on the road, the so-called migrant caravan finally arrives at the San Diego crossing.
You see kids, you see mothers, you see men like me, we're fighting to, for a better future.
But the group of at least 150 seeking asylum in the U.S. and trying to go through the established legal process remains stuck on the other side. A small group is camped at the border terminal while the rest are nearby in Tijuana, Mexico. Leaders of the group say they've been following this procedure for years, but this time they've been told their entry is blocked, and U.S. Customs and Border Protection are turning them away because it said the crossing where it initially vets asylum seekers was already at capacity.
We can build a base in Iraq in under a week. We can't process 200 refugees.
But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come.